Last time on Square Roots, our hero enters a time warp to retrieve the golden orb from his child self, thereby restoring the dragon god as well as the Zenithian castle to their proper homes in the sky. Will the hero be able to retrieve his armor and find Mada, or will the demon world finally consume our hero's soul?
Hello and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Matthew Van Zant, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jonathan Brandon.
Ooh, you gotta come up with some better nicknames. I feel like there's been some similarity in the nicknames you've offered recently, but hello.
You don't like that one?
That is not my name.
And Stan, Dr. Steve Stone Ferguson.
Good evening, patients. How are you?
Oh.
Looks like you're looking a little green.
Okay. Are we doing voices tonight? That sounds fun.
I could. I've been trying to work on my Cliffy there
like
now.
A vampire. More like Matthew Vampire Zant. Ha ha ha.
Florida is
Tahoo.
Those temporary climate in North America. You know that, Nami? I can't do it.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I can't do John Ratzenberger. But I can't. I've also been working on this week my very poor Jay Leno. You hear about this? You hear about this? You see that in the newspaper?
John.
Yep.
With the most relevant jokes as always.
The man of two voices.
Thanks for keeping it real, John.
No problem.
Anyway, Square Roots is a classic RPG podcast where we play your favorite RPGs one chunker at a time, and then we come back here and talk to you, our beautiful audience, about it. This is the final episode of our Dragon Quest series. What is this, part 6?
Part 6.
Yeah. Part 6.
Episode number 6.
Can you believe it, guys? We all did all of the final content of the game.
Pulls that collar.
There's stuff we could have done that we didn't.
I think there's a whole extra dungeon.
Yeah.
I poked my head around in there. It was a dungeon. Who cares?
Yeah.
The dungeon
Actually,
crawling...
you probably would have liked it, John.
Why?
It's got, block puzzles.
Ooh.
You fucking nerds. Anyway, this is our final episode of Dragon Quest. But before we talk about the end of Dragon Quest 5, I should say.
Yeah.
We're not playing the original
There
Dragon
are 4
Quest.
others.
I'm not even sure that game is playable on any system. It's probably only on floppy disks.
No, it's on
This series
iOS.
is so old.
My friend
You
just
can
played
play it on the
iOS.
original NES.
Definitely only playable on chalk tablets.
Dragon
This series is a billion years old.
Warrior.
I mean, there's the Abacus port, but the graphics aren't very good.
So anyway, usually before we talk about the game, we like to individually do our own little talk about how we each leveled up. So Jonathan, why don't you tell me how you leveled up?
I leveled up by playing more of The Witcher 3.
God damn it.
Yeah, you hear about this? You think anyone hear about this?
You heard me say that was going to be my level up.
Yeah, well, when Stan was making dinner, he was saying to me, in the kitchen, that he was going to do that. And I did see John standing in the doorway and snickering to himself. So I have to side with Stan, John. I think that this is
we can't level up
out
with
of
the
line.
same thing? Is that against the rules?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I
since
think you
I'm
guys
first,
established that.
I've been playing more of The Witcher 3, the greatest game ever made. It's fine. I don't like Geralt very much. It's a good looking
How
game.
long have you been playing The Witcher 3, John?
5 hours, maybe, I'll put in.
That's it?
No. How many months, John?
What? Okay, I got it in, like, April? So...
Yeah, that sounds compelling.
A good half hour a month. And I plan to be done in another 200 months.
All right.
Will I live another 200 months?
Probably not. So what have you been doing in The Witcher 3?
Okay. Well, I'm riding around my horse. I'm doing quests. I haven't done any major quests really yet. I killed the ghost by a well, which I think I talked about before. And that was neat. I went and met this guy who's the dad of some girl that I think I met at the beginning of the game, named Cersei or Sissy or Spacek. And she seemed all right. And I got reunited with Yennefer.
Yeah.
And there's some simmering tensions between us. Sort of a Sam and Diane will they, won't they?
Is it really a will they, won't they?
I think they already have. Both Sam and Diane and Geralt and Yennefer. Also, I got to the episode of Cheers where Coach is replaced by Woody Harrelson. And it basically goes like this. Woody Harrelson walks into the bar. Hey, can I talk to Coach? And then Sam's like, oh, sorry, Coach died. And Woody's like, oh, well, we were pen pals. That's really sad. I'm a bartender from Indiana. Can I be your bartender? And Sam's like, well, I guess I need a new bartender since Coach died. Anyway.
You nailed it. That's exactly it, word for word.
I also watched some Night Court, and both Cheers and Night Court in the episodes I watched this past weekend had Michael Richards in it, which I think is a crazy coincidence.
Wow, that is wild.
Yeah, so that's it. Stan, how did you level up?
Well, I was going to say Witcher 3.
But you might have more interesting things to say than the 2 hours I played it this week.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say The Witcher 3 because it's literally the only thing I've done besides work. So I played this game, and as some folks know in our in the Facebook group, not a huge fan. But I'm kind of too spooked to continue playing Tomb Raider right now because I get scared real easy. And so I'm playing this game because it's a thing I can do when it's daylight. And God damn it. This game is something. I just got to this quest where you got to deal with a guy who brutally beat his wife. And got to be like listen to his woeful tale of himself, and I'm just like, dude, fuck you. Why am I still working with this dude? Why am I seeing his little memories where like people are happy with him and he's happy, and I'm just like, fuck this game. But, you know,
that's the quest that made me quit the game.
Yeah.
That's where I stopped playing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's the same quest that I quit on. That game, too, not good. I already got one Game of Thrones in my life. I don't need another one.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to find out which Versus game we'll be playing. There's
I'm excited.
That's ending in a matter of hours.
Yeah, we'll, I guess, talk about that a little later. But I already voted, and I'm not even playing, so neat. Matthew, sir, how did you level up?
Right now, it looks like it's probably going to be Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden.
Ooh,
Really?
I don't actually know what it is.
It's very weird. It is very weird.
What did I do? How did I level up? Guys, I started watching a show, so I guess I'll just mention that, and you guys can tell me if you've seen it. Have you guys watched or heard of the show Superstore?
A little. I saw the first season-ish, I think.
I've heard of it.
It seems pretty good. I'm on the second season. The first season was pretty funny, but it's not the best thing I've ever seen. But first seasons often aren't.
That's true.
So I'm excited to see. People seem to really love it. So I have a feeling it's going to continue to get better. And it's just a show about a bunch of people that work at essentially a Walmart. And it's pretty fun. And, socially conscious and funny. So that's nice. So, I don't know. Watch Superstore,
That's
guys.
an ABC show, right?
It is NBC, actually.
Oh.
I just recently finished, and I probably talked about it on the show. I binged all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I binged all of The Good Place, which are both also on NBC now, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine's case. And I'm all ready for their big night tonight that we're recording. Both shows come back.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
They're on right now.
The Good Place.
I don't want to watch them both really bad.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching The Good Place tomorrow morning because I don't watch live TV because I'm very bad at it, and I have it on Amazon.
That's probably what I'll.
I have it on the iTunes.
What it'll be on. It'll all be on.
It should be on
Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu.
And that's probably what I'll end up watching it on.
Watch it on that Hulu.
We don't get Hulu in Canada.
It's American number one.
Yeah.
Canada number poo. Anyway, that's it for me, I guess. John, I know that you're eager to talk about the end of this game.
Yeah.
So this is our final Dragon Quest episode, and let's just get into it, guys.
Let's do it.
It's time for the confessional.
Oh,
my.
You've been naughty.
Yeah.
I have some prayers for you.
So, where did we leave off last week? I don't really remember.
I don't know.
It's all kind of blended together at this point.
Last week we left off. Well, we had Dr. Aegon. Oh yeah, we got Dr. Aegon. We got the castle.
Oh, we did the
thing,
dragon temple,
and then it made Dr. Aegon turn into a dragon. Is that what happened?
Yeah. Dr. Aegon turned into a dragon, and we could fly him around.
Yay!
That's right. So, Dr. Aegon could turn into a dragon, and we could fly him around.
Yes.
And that was neat. And this is kind of your last chance to go run around and do shit. I didn't do much, I gotta be honest with you guys. I did kill Bjorn, the giant.
Yeah.
I did that as well.
Which was cool. That's a little side thing you can do.
Well,
you can go to Monstrafaro.
Not really.
And
you have to do it.
No, you don't. You don't need...
No, you don't.
Yeah, you have to get the ultimate key. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah, but you don't need the ultimate key to finish the game.
Yeah, you don't need the ultimate key.
Yeah, to get to that last area, you need the ultimate key.
I don't think
you can't get to Nadiria without it. I tried.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I tried. I was like, that's what I was like. Fuck, you got to beat him.
Nadiria? Where's Nadiria?
That's the last area.
You know when you go to the area with the goddesses with the rings?
Are you sure? Because everything says it's a side quest. All the facts.
I think
stuff.
it's optional to do at that point in time.
Oh.
But
okay.
So like I did Crocodilopolis first, and then I went back and beat him because after I finished Crocodilopolis, I couldn't get into that little building. Where the
goddesses are. Deciding vote in this argument, guys, I'm sorry, Stan, but I am siding with John. This is a side quest, Stan. You just fucked up somehow.
No,
I think you're right there, Matt.
That is my ruling. Okay, we don't have any video review or anything. I'm not going to the booth, so you're just gonna have to accept me as your referee.
All right, if anyone
that's a strike.
Listening to this has managed to get inside that room without the ultimate key, let me know.
I will say I did have the ultimate key, so
I also did.
Yeah, I went there without it.
If anybody's likely to be wrong, it's John and I. But again, as your official decider, as the judge in this case, it's going to be, I'm going to side with John. So, but we can talk about it instead of arguing about the key. You fight Bjorn. He's this giant monster. So you go talk to Mr. Spaghetti Face, your dad.
Yeah.
Wait.
He does not admonish you for losing his daughter and letting her be turned into stone.
Oh, he doesn't give me that shit because I didn't marry his daughter.
And also,
no, that's fair.
By the time I did all this, she was back in the party.
Oh, yeah. She would have been back in my party, too, because I did Crocodilopolis before this as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, she was not in my party.
Oh,
because you did it.
So, in my case, he just ignored the fact that she was, stoned. I had let her go get off and get stoned and never come home like an asshole. Nor does he have much to say about the fact that the children seem to have turned into young adults. It's a little weird. He's not a very good grandfather. In fact, all he really wants is for you to go check out his jar again.
Yeah.
Which listeners may remember when we got married. If you married his daughter. Stan, did you have to do it too?
No, I did not have to do it. You guys had to do it. But when I got back to
check
town,
his jar.
Yeah, I accidentally found his jar right before doing this quest. So, I found the jar and it was blue. Then I walked into town and some adventurer tells me that I just checked the jar and it was red. And I then go to Rodrigo Spaghetti Face and he says, "Can you go and check my jar? I will only trust your word." So I was like, I literally was just there and it was blue.
And there's some weird writing here, like Mrs. Berlusconi or whatever it is, Viscoletti. She's like, "Oh, there's something wrong. My husband has been the same since he talked to a traveling merchant."
Yeah.
Oh, I guess the traveling merchant was the one who stopped by and saw that it was red.
Yeah,
it just seemed like he was.
He's the guy who hangs out in the center of town I think it's near their fountain or something like that.
I thought that he was turning evil. She's saying he's acting strange and he's kind of weird and obsessed with this jar, but he's not turning evil. If you read the diary, I think did we talk about this last time? That the diary explains that he's from this line of heroes that bottled up an ancient monster. Yeah, okay.
We did.
So basically, you go check the jar and bang, it's red. You go back and find that Mr. Spaghetti Man is standing on top of this tower.
Yeah.
That's been next to this town this whole game.
Yeah.
The one that Stan says looks like a dong.
An uncircumcised donger.
Yeah.
Dong Tower.
Yeah.
And he asks you to stand guard, I guess. And then you get a fun cutscene where this giant comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
He looks good, too. It's a nice animation.
Yeah.
Nice pixely, chunky looking guy.
Like a big, tall, anthropologic moose.
Anthropomorphic.
Whatever.
Yeah. A big furry moose. And the moose is mad at you.
Yeah. And he is willing to kill you instead of Rodrigo.
Now, since I did this after Crocodilopolis, I had the Sage's Stone, I think, and I had...
Well, no. You couldn't have had the Sage's Stone yet. Don't you get that after you eat Ladja?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, but Ladja's in the Crocodilopolis, isn't he?
No.
Oh.
No, that's Queen something and King something else.
Yeah, no,
it's in my notes.
Ladja's in the basement of the Dragon Temple the first time.
Oh, yeah, he shows up after you kill the bad guy, then he kills the bad guy even deader, and then disappears.
That the ghost of your mom gave you the Sage's Stone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, I had my wife in the party, and she was good at healing. I thought she had the Sage's, but anyway, it was an easy fight.
Let me see, because I got all this shit written down.
Anyway, it's a long-ass fight. It took me 40 minutes or something. I was not happy about it.
I was level 31, maybe? And I got through it pretty quickly. It wasn't too bad.
After him, I had to grind a lot just to get through the end of this game.
I had to grind a lot to fight that dude. I mean, just to fight the Moose guy.
I did, yeah. I grinded a lot to fight fucking Bjorn, and then I grinded a ton more to finish the fucking game.
Yeah, I probably grinded.
So a lot happens, and
5 hours.
I'm afraid that my end perspective of this game is a little colored negatively because
we'll talk about that in a bit because I had to go from level 29 or 30 when I started to level 38 to finish the game, and you gain about a level an hour, so it's not an insignificant amount of leveling.
Yeah, it wasn't so bad for my kids to level up, and fortunately, Mohawk Hat was pretty much the same level I was at any given time, so it wasn't too bad once I got them to the late 20s, and I was already 30, beating the Moose guy. The bosses at Crocodilopolis were nothing.
Yeah, they were not bad at all, and I got the wife from like before I even started Crocodilopolis, I got the wife to level 25, and then by the time I finished the game, she was at 36.
Wait, how did you get the wife to level 25 before you finished
Crocodilopolis? Nothing you're saying makes
Crocodilopolis?
sense, John. You can't get the
you're
wife
right. Sorry,
before you
after.
beat Crocodilopolis.
I guess it was after. Before Nimzo, then. Before you get to the... Sorry, mixing up the places. Before you get to the negative world. Bad place.
Well, we're already talking... We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're way ahead of ourselves.
Much, guys. So after you defeat Bjorn, you get the ultimate key, and this will open any door in the game, and yada, yada, yada. So you can go around and do some treasure collecting if you want. I didn't really. I looked at a list, and none of it seemed that interesting. I went and got like one thing.
Yeah. The main thing that you need to get is a Crocodilopolis anyway. Which is the Zenith armor.
And then you head off to Crocodilopolis, and this is is it like a temple in the clouds or on top of a mountain?
It's on top of a mountain. It's the same place you were when you were a slave. It's the thing you were building.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And you get in there.
You didn't see Maria's brother's skeleton?
I guess not.
It's a real cult. When you get in there, I tried talking to people, and they're just like, "Shh, Nimzo's coming."
Yep.
Yeah, they're all kind of brain dead. And it's So anyway, you go to Crocodilopolis. You have to take the dragon. It's the only way. The only way to get there is the dragon.
Yeah.
This game has given you a lot of modes of transportation.
Yeah.
But dragon is the only one that's going to let you finish the game.
Yeah. And so you get to this cult place, and everyone's in robes and looking forward. You can talk to them a bit. There's some people I think that you might recognize from when you were a slave that are still there. And you go up there.
There's
and
two guards.
You can see your mom is totally up there.
Well, before you see her up there, though, you have to fight the two guards that are like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, you can't walk up there until you talk to the guards, because they keep saying, "Hey, come back! You're not allowed to go up there."
Yeah, it took forever for me to get them to fight me, too. They would just tell me not to do it, and finally they fought me, and they turned into dragons, even though they were people. Mm-hmm. And then you go and you see your mom.
Yeah, they did that Final Fantasy VI thing. It's always fun, where the sprites on the world map look nothing like the monster.
Right.
Yeah. And then you see your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to fight Queen Furs.
Well, your mom starts negging you. She's like, "Oh, you're an idiot. Why'd I even give birth to you?"
What? No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she poops right on the screen and is like, "Fuck you, you piece of garbage."
She was just like, what? She keeps trying to fool you. Like, the first thing she says is, she's governing the temple on behalf of God King Korol. Yeah. And then she goes, then she says, "You could probably see this clear as black and white, but I am your mother." And I was like, that's not weird. And then she talks about how you've grown and how much she wanted to see you, and that your father was a serious, tedious man.
Yeah, okay, so negging your dad, sorry.
Yeah, and then she's like, do you want to listen to me? And I was like, no. And she said, you're right, there's no point in talking about such matters. And then she asked me if I would vow to serve under the God King Korol. I said, no. And then she goes, "Are you willing to stand against your own mother?" I said, no. And then she repeats the previous question.
Yeah, that happened to me for a while.
Yeah. So eventually, you say, yes, you're willing to stand against her. And then she laughs and, reveals that she's an imposter. And she's actually...
you know what it is? Why I got...
Queen Furs.
Why I had a different experience than you?
Why?
Because I listened to her, and she negs me and calls me an idiot.
Oh, really?
Then I got cursed. And that's why I spent that whole fight with, losing MP every round.
Oh, my gosh. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. My constantly choosing no paid off.
Yes.
So she turns into a Cyclops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's definitely lifting more than I assumed the mom had. She's pretty ripped.
Yeah, I say that they were pretty easy, but then I'm looking at it, and Mohawk and I were pretty much close to dead, and Snot was definitely dead.
Oh, I had... What did I have on that? Oh, I think I had myself, the twins, and Sancho.
How did you do? No problem?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Yeah, I apparently almost died during that fight, so go figure. I had to resurrect Snot. But after that...
you go ahead.
Oh, no.
No, you...
Matt has been quiet. Dangerously quiet, I'd say.
I'm not reading about Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. What are you doing?
All right. So you defeat after you defeat the queen, the whole spell has been broken, and the slaves are like, "Wait, what are we doing here? We could just leave,
what's
right?"
up with this? Yeah, I guess they got their souls back. I don't know, because
Yeah,
they were like saying how no
this?
one here has a soul.
You ever see this? Why are we slaves? We don't
We got a
need to be here.
soul. I got a soul. Oh.
So I guess he had all their souls in his pockets?
Well, she would have, but I mean, there's still the God King. So I don't know who has the souls, but at least they suddenly realize, hey, who are we and what are we doing here? And you find a secret staircase behind the throne, and also your wife is stone. And here's the thing. How did she get there? Because she was hanging out with that pervy brother who decided to keep her statue.
Yeah, that's true.
You never know how she ended up getting transferred over here.
No, that's a good Gaiden story.
Yeah.
The wife of stone.
One day we'll know the story. So you go down the stairs and you spot a skeleton.
How did the wife get there? Do you know? Why don't you write squarerootspodcast@gmail.com with your story of how the wife ended up in this temple?
I want this. I want to hear this. I want to hear you all read about this. So, yes, please write in with that.
Yes.
This skeleton that we find has some writing next to it.
Oh, no.
And it says, "To my dear little sister Maria, I'm afraid my days are numbered. All I can hope now, my only hope, is that you alone will be happy." And if you're anyone but Matthew, you'd realize that was Maria's older brother, and that you are back in the same place that you were building when you were a slave.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was...
You could have gone someplace else. You could have moved.
Probably could have been made more clear. Sorry, I don't remember this one dude from 12 hours ago. Really, 30 hours ago.
It was
the one who let you escape. He put you in the barrel.
I felt kind of sad about this whole thing. He's dead. Yeah. So there's some passages.
Oh, God, this place. I'm looking at my screenshots, and I'm like, this place was a pain in the ass to walk through.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was all like levels above each other, right? And below.
Yeah, so you had to move your camera and swing it around a lot to see where you were going.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great. But you get through there eventually, and you find this guy named King Korol.
And I just now figured out why it's called Crocodilopolis.
Because he's a crocodile?
Yeah, I didn't realize he looked like a crocodile.
He does.
But his name is Korol.
I don't get the joke. Maybe there is one. I don't know it.
Maybe do crocodiles live in the sea? Where all the coral is?
So I found this fight a little tricky.
Yeah, so this is the one that stopped me, and I had to back out of this. I basically just... I had to back out of this and go grind. I went back to the last area. What was it called? The Dragon Temple.
Yeah.
And I spent several hours grinding there. I had to get everybody up to around level 30.
Wow.
It was not the funnest.
Oh, you know what I got? I got the Circle of Life, and that's what I used to defeat the Moose Man. Because you can use that
the
to
Circle
heal
of
one
Life
person.
is... Yeah, because it constantly gives a little bit of healing to the person who's wearing it.
And you can use it as an item, too, I believe.
Oh, really? Cool.
I think so. Or I had a Rod of Salvation.
I never tried it, so I can't say. But
the Rod of Salvation was helpful. I had a Rod of Healing. That might be what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I had a Rod of Healing of some kind, a Rod of blessing or something.
Salvation.
But I had on.
Yeah, there was
the boy,
there was like a staff of rejuvenation.
Yeah, he would use it sometimes to heal somebody. It was pretty great.
I had some
Nice.
cash from all the grinding, so in the next town, I bought the Rod of Resurrection, which was very useful.
Nice.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
I barely killed this guy, apparently. I was the only one left standing.
Oh, no.
My children and cat were all dead.
But you did it.
It's always frustrating when that happens and nobody else gets the experience.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other monsters that didn't get in the fight got the experience as well as me. Just not my kids or my cat.
So
But you beat him,
Mhm.
and he was not expecting that.
No.
In fact, he says, perhaps it is what is dubbed destiny. And apparently Grandmaster Nimzo predicted this.
Mhm.
And then he goes and tells you that your mom is in the underworld of Nadiria with Grandmaster Nimzo, and that you need to go there to help her. He suddenly becomes really nice. But then he goes, but there, you and your kin will be destroyed. I don't know why he says snap out loud, but that's what he does.
Yeah. It's crocodile, so he's
snappy.
No, it didn't translate well.
But then he says, I will nonetheless open for you the pathway to the underworld. I'm like, dude, you're awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty rad of him.
Then he asks Nimzo to grant him his final strength, and it doesn't work. Ladja ends up showing up instead and says, you did what I needed you to do. You got all these people in the temple to build the temple. I don't know what Ladja's game was with this guy, because these people don't do anything, and this temple didn't do anything. Yeah. So, Korol's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this," and Ladja blows him the fuck up. And he says a really good line that I thought was funny. He says, "Huh? The useless are useless to the end? No." Like, wow, this guy was useless, huh?
Harsh.
Like, you literally used him to do all this stuff, but he was useless. Then he says, "Stand in, friends. Now you should do as you are pleasing. Then you will taste even more strongly the pain of the future, or in future." And he laughs and leaves. And immediately after he leaves, you read on your screen, "It's the circle of life."
I don't actually know the words to that song, so I can't join you.
Oh, yeah. But it doesn't really matter. It literally says, "It's the circle of life" on your screen.
And yeah, the ring just drops down. You're like, oh, thanks.
And it has the faint warmth of your mother.
How do you? Is this where you revive your wife?
Yeah.
Well, first
no, that's next.
First, you get a spotlight on you, and your mom talks to you for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's excited that you can hear her. But she says, "Don't come here. I will go ahead and give my life to save the world. You take care of your wife and kids."
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you go upstairs, and Bianca comes back to me. I missed her so.
Yep. She, the statue of her, comes back to life like a mannequin movie.
Were you happy? Were you glad to see your Nira?
She's fine.
What about your Deborah?
I was bummed out because she was at the same level she was when she got frozen,
makes sense.
which was fucking annoying. Like, I really wanted her in my party, but like it was just too much of a pain in the ass. And I spent so much time leveling up the kids that I was like, "There's no fucking way I'm gonna go do this again."
Did you get?
Right, here's what I want to know.
Did you find the diamond achillix?
Diamond.
No.
Yeah,
Because they are.
Oh,
They only work on Deborah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who cares? She was so underleveled that I didn't use her.
Man, that's like a super awesome weapon, even with her being underleveled.
Hold on a sec. But you guys keep going.
Also, they level up really fast.
So anyway,
Here, I have a real quick question though. When we were in Stone, weren't we in Stone for 8 years? Didn't they actually say something like that? Because when you save your wife, they say it's been 10 years.
Maybe it took 2 years to find her.
All that stuff that we did, I it didn't seem like it took that long since I came out of stone.
Well, it seems like time passes pretty fast in this game. Like a lot of times you're saying, "Oh, this was months ago. This was a year ago," or it's like, "Oh, okay."
I don't know. My kids look the same.
Yeah. Well, kids, what's the difference between 8 and 12? They're just kids.
8 and 10, you mean?
They're just kids. I don't have kids. I don't know.
Well, I like the fact that Bianca has such a super chill attitude about being a statue, because the first thing she goes is, 10 years as a statue. Thanks ever so much for coming to my rescue, Stan. And dear Snot and Grout, I'm so sorry for leaving you all them years. That's it. That's all she says.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't remember what Deborah said. I'm sure it was something shitty.
Even to her kids?
It's a lot of fun.
Probably.
Oh.
Dweebs. What's up, doofuses? Oh, boy.
Well, Prince Albert, no. Oh,
quick question. Were you did you have any kind of sentience or awareness during your confinement to statue?
I can only imagine that I did. I don't know if I was, when we're watching all that happen, are we watching it through the stone statue's eyes, or are we?
No.
Are we just watching it as viewers of this video game?
I think I don't know. I'd like to think that he was sentient. So at this point, I just leveled up for a bit before I started going to the dark world. You talk to Sancho and Prince Albert. They're telling you,
and Prince Albert, who now looks like the old Chancellor.
He does not want you to go to the underworld.
No, Sancho. No one wants you to go, right? Does Prince Albert want you to go?
No.
Yeah, no. Prince Albert even tells you not to go. Everyone's like, "Don't do this."
And you're like, "Well,"
and I was like, "I don't want to." Do I? Do I gotta? Mm-hmm. I only did it for this show.
You gotta.
Oh.
And where is the entrance again? It's someplace.
It's in that cave east of Lofty Peak.
You have to go.
And I'm going to go ahead and read you my screenshot, because this is where I went immediately after Crocodilopolis. It says, "The door is locked, and it doesn't look like any of the keys in the party's possession will open it."
Well, maybe there's something that happens after you go back to Gotha that unlocks it?
No, because I went there straight from Gotha.
Right, well, maybe I'm wrong. So it was after this. Yeah. This is when I went and did Bjorn the Behemoths. So I had...
That's exactly what...
I had the Circle of Life. And I had the Ring of Fire and all that. So I had all these auto healing items. The Staff of Salvation, and I've got the armor that heals me.
You had that? Oh, me too. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, it's really useful.
Oh, I loved it.
I kept that the whole game because getting that heal every turn was really useful.
And it was a good heal.
Yeah. So yeah, I recommend.
We're talking about 50, 60.
If you're gonna get anything with your mini medals, get the healing armor, because it's good enough to last the whole game. And
and you don't have to worry about, if you get the sword, you have to use it to get the health.
Yeah, exactly. With this one, it just auto heals you.
Yep. At the end of every turn.
I found a dress that also reduced fire and ice damage, which is super useful for the end boss. That was one of those dresses that I got from Nira's dad. So you didn't get that. I think you can find it.
Nice.
Anyway, so after you've killed the moose and you've got all your treasures, you're ready to go to the underworld. You go to you take the boat through to this special shrine.
Real quick, did you guys get the Zenithian armor?
I didn't. Where do you get that?
Crocodilopolis.
It's at the beginning of Crocodilopolis, and you have to have the ultimate key. That's what held me up. I decided I wanted that.
Okay.
I was like, I want that armor. I wasn't going any further until I got that armor.
Well, you wouldn't have gone any further anyway because you needed the ultimate key.
Well, also I was wildly underleveled.
Yeah. Well, next time I'll go back and do... Well, no, wait, I'm not playing this again. Yeah, I guess I never got that last piece of armor.
Yeah, well, So you go into this shrine with the 3 angels, and if you didn't read the FAQ, there's no possible way you could know what to do here.
Yeah, does someone say something about using the rings, or is this just something you guess?
I haven't a clue. I don't recall anyone saying anything about it. Maybe in Lofty Peak. But
I'm certain that I just read it in the guide.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know who could have told you.
yeah. So you give him...
Maybe it just says it on the... Because you do have to put it on the pedestal. What do the
It
pedestals
says the
say?
hands are
They don't
open,
say-
waiting for something.
Yeah. Yeah. So you give them the rings of fire, life, and water, and a cool-looking portal opens. And I tried to take the rings back, but if you take the rings back, the portal closes.
Oh, that
Yeah.
circle of
I was like,
life
they were
ring is
nice
awesome.
rings.
I want to keep it.
I know.
The circle
Circle of life, and it finds a way.
I somehow missed that song. I've seen Lion King once, and I just didn't like it. So,
Circle
The
of
circle
life.
of life.
I think it was on the radio quite a bit, but I always just changed the channel when it was on because I just thought it was a bad song.
You're
Well,
mad.
that's just
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand maybe saying, like, I didn't get it, but to sit there and say,
I mean, it is.
I
It really
know.
is boring and draggy and drony and ugh. There's nothing good about it.
God, this is bad opinion times
What?
with John.
it is. This is John's shit take corner.
So you go through this portal, and the first thing you hear is your mother's voice, and she's like, "Well, I guess you're here." But she realizes that you're even bigger and stronger than she ever imagined.
Your mom wants to bang you, basically.
Yeah,
is what
she
Sam's saying.
imagined.
He's beating around the bush.
So was I.
And she's like, "I'm not going to ask you to turn back now." And she trusts in your powers, and she's going to help you. And then she gives you some sort of gift. Oh, that's when you get the thing.
That's where you get the Sage's Stone.
That's
She
when
already
you get the
gave you a
Sage's
gift,
Stone.
Stan.
Life.
She gives you the gift of
Exactly.
life.
I wish I knew this.
So this is when you get the Sage's Stone. That's what I got confused about before.
Yeah, but like all other items, I immediately ignored it because
What?
the items are mostly useless.
The one that heals your
I
entire
agree.
party a little bit?
How would I know if she really loves me?
Heals like
It heals your
100 to
team
150.
with
For me, it was healing, I think, like
every
100 to
turn
150
now.
Heartbeat.
per character multi-heal, which
Yeah.
is pretty good. So I didn't really realize I had it either until I got to the last boss and was kind of put in a position of like, oh shit, how am I supposed
I
to
used
beat
it
this?
Even
for-
though I told you multiple times in our chat.
I used it for every fight. Basically, I had the mom carry it and just use it every fight so that she could heal everybody so I wouldn't have to use magic to get through the last dungeon before the last chunk of the dungeon.
All right.
Yeah, the last. Yeah.
Well, before
Anyway,
we get to the
so,
dungeon, we go to a town
Yeah, you're in Nidiria.
Yeah.
And you go to a town.
full of
It's great.
former monsters,
Yeah,
now
this
people.
is cute. So basically, your mom has been turning monsters good, and when monsters turn good and have good, pure hearts, they turn into humans again, and they don't.
That makes
They don't
sense.
like being human. That's the funny part. Is they're like, oh, this kind of sucks, but you can't talk too bad about it, or you'll turn back into a monster.
I liked how there was that one who was a guard, and he was like, I'm happy to be a human or whatever, but if I have to, I'm gonna fight with Nimzo because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. There was a little goblin dude underneath the town
Yep.
who gives you a nice little knick-knack.
Yep.
But I never ever
No, that was the.
plan on going back to the knick-knackery.
Was it
So
the Oh god, it was the Annalum Retentium, and it's a
yeah.
and it's like a list of all the regrets everybody has in their lives. Is that right? All the people who got sent to
awful.
the underworld, and it's a poop pun. You like poop puns, right?
Anal retention.
Yep.
Get it?
This podcast is built on poop puns.
Poop puns.
Yes.
What?
Hey, everybody, this is Poop Puns with your host, Dr. Steven Stone. And always with me is my best pal, Matthew Van Zandt. Tell me about your poop. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for coming to Poop Puns.
Thanks, Dr. Stone.
So, anyway, you face off against Dr. Poopstone, and the game is won.
No. So this
No.
town is cute, but it's like the pointless last JRPG town. Like I think Phantasy Star had one where it's like, well, I guess it just has some nice weapons, but it's no real. It doesn't really add anything to the plot. And it's just kind of weird.
No, the best thing about it is it gives you a place to rest.
Yeah, and it has so that
you can just level up for an hour and a half.
Don't listen to when Dr. Steven Stone tells you that Wheelbrick has the best items in the game, and then go grind for money so you can get them, only to find out this place has them, because Dr. Steven Stone was lying and trying to trick you.
Hey, it's easy to make money here. It's not a big deal.
So I wandered around here and saved money and bought some items and got to level 38 before I decided to try and do
38.
Well, because I died at the last boss at 34. And then I went to level 38 in order to finish the game.
Good God. I died at the last boss at level 35, and all I did was pull up my last save. And I went right back. Because I saved.
After, like, when the twins and the mom get to, like, level 34, 35, they get some rad spells that can destroy the last boss.
Nice.
Like, the boy gets this lightning spell that does 200-something damage to Nimzo.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in a bit because we still got to get to the final dungeon in Nadiria. Mount.
So this whole area
Zugswang.
it's like 3 little islands, and they're all covered in mountains, and it makes you like go through a maze to get to the final dungeon after you leave this city.
Yeah.
It's really stupid and annoying.
Yeah, it was obnoxious, but you eventually get to Mount Zugswang, or you can make a real quick stop at the giant TNT board.
Oh,
I saw that it was a giant TNT board, and I noped right the fuck out of there.
Just to see what it was like.
I didn't see it.
And
I would have played it.
It was just south of Zugswang.
It's very, very hard. I kept getting stuck because you have to like land on exact spots in order to progress, and that's the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like the one over. I mean, it's bigger, but it's like the one in Fairy Lee.
Yeah, and a lot like that one.
But you go through what seems like the longest dungeon ever until you get to the top. Mm-hmm. And then, well, not the top, but near the top. And then you see your mom and a couple guards.
Right.
You get to the 2 guards, and you see that your mom is offering up they tell you that your mom is offering up a prayer to Grandmaster Nimzo. And then there's then you fight them, I guess, beat them, and then your mom covers you with a nice warm light, and she gets really happy to see you, and she's like, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pray to the goddess and seal everything. And as soon as she says, Almighty Goddess, please hear my prayer, she gets slammed with a fucking fireball and falls right down.
Yeah, I do like
oh shit.
Ladja's well, I guess, or the bad guys in this game is taking out both of your parents with large fireballs is their MO.
Yeah, but he doesn't turn her to ash. She does that little animation where she wobbles from side to side and face plants.
Yeah.
And then you get your final confrontation with Ladja. And he's actually quite moved at the moment that your mom was willing to give her life for her children, and that eventually you're going to die and join her.
That's nice.
He says a lot of things, and I'm not going to repeat them because we've heard enough from Ladja. But you kill him, and he gets covered in the same light that you guys were, but he finds it very heatful.
Yes. Yep.
Heatful.
Yeah, that's his words. He goes, "It is so heatful," and he cannot stop burning No, he is burning from the light, and then he disappears in a light ball.
Bye.
And your mom wakes up again, and she comments that you've really grown up again, and she really can't believe your strength. Eventually, you guys are going to be having Folgers together.
Strength. I have a wife and kids. I know that doesn't mean it.
It's like, I can hardly believe you're straight.
Mom,
you didn't even know me.
Interest in musical
I was just
theater,
a baby,
and those men you keep hanging around with, and
you just listen to show tunes all the time.
Our father and I had a talk about our little gay son, and it's fine. No, Mom, I'm not. Stop it.
And then she says she's never been able to do anything for you as a mother until today. And she's like, step back, boy. And she prays again.
Step back, boy.
And again, this time she get praised and she gets struck by fucking lightning.
Why are they killing this mom so much? Stop it.
I don't know, but she falls again. And then she's like, ha, it's too much, man. I had no idea Nimzo has become so strong. The dear goddess, please lend me your strength for the sake of my dear son Stan. And then you get the best scene in the game.
What's that?
Pankraz steps out from heaven.
Oh, yeah.
And your parents are back together again. And they talk about how you're more powerful than both of them. And it's true. And they say...
It says, then you gift from your parents the Sage's Stone. Is this when you get the Sage's Stone?
I thought this was where you got the Sage's Stone. They gift you some damn thing or another, but I can't remember what.
I know you get it at some point.
But no, you get the Sage's Stone because I have the screenshot of it.
Okay.
When you show up in Nadiria. But yeah, they go to heaven and say goodbye. And you go through this fucking dungeon again. Go through more places. There's a room where the floor moves you. Like it's a conveyor belt.
And there's
puzzle.
nothing you need in this room. It's just extra treasure. But
no, you need the little
you're right.
teapot.
Yes, you're right. You do need that little teapot at the bottom. And this room is really
the sun crown's very useful
annoying.
though.
What is?
The sun crown. It's a good armor.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did put that on my head.
So that teapot is called an aspersorium, and you use that to get to the rest of the dungeon. You do that to get through the rest of the dungeon. There's a couple more guards. There's a stupid moving floor puzzle. And then you reach the moving platform that gets you to Nimzo. And all three of us, despite my best attempts, because I was the first one to beat him and the first one to die to him, I gave you all the strategies you needed, everything that you should do. Yeah. Despite that, every single one of us died the first time we fought him.
I think I died twice fighting him.
What?
So the first time was that I was too low of a level. I couldn't survive the even with like insulate and all that. I just couldn't survive his two attacks in the second form. His first form is just like a greeny bishop guy. Like he looks like a Dazorian from Phantasy Star 4. And his second form is like a big old monster, a blob.
Yeah, that's the second form that's tough. Like the first form, because I didn't know about the Sage's Stone, I blew everything on it. And so I had like no HP or no MP left for the second form. And I was just like, oh, I'm done.
So the second...
Because the second form is the hard hitter.
Yeah, it does 2 attacks per round. The first form does not. And that is the biggest... Now, when Nimzo introduces himself and does the usual final boss of the game, you're all gonna die thing, it's written in weird letters, and it's one letter...
Only on the DS.
At a time. On the DS. Oh, really?
Oh, my God.
On the DS, it's like... Hello, humans. Like, it's... It takes a minute for each screen of text for it to appear, and it's in this like super hard to read, like weird. It looks like they're using Cyrillic letters that look like English letters.
Oh, I've seen that in screenshots. I wondered what the hell that
Yeah,
was.
that's the DS.
Yeah.
That's not in the iOS or Android
slow.
version.
No, that was not.
It's not as the
It's
slowest
not like that
text
on
crawl
iOS.
we'll ever see is in the beginning of Final Fantasy Tactics, where there's at one point where it talks about how people have
That's true.
little food, and it takes like 2 minutes for that to
Oh,
show up.
God.
That is the.
Yes.
This is not that bad, but it's still pretty bad. So with Nimzo, okay, so the first time was that I was too low level. The second time, my mistake was I forgot he had bounce on him, and I have all these super powerful spells, and I killed two of my people, and it was hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
You do have access to your full wagon here, which is nice.
Yeah.
So you can swap party members in and out, and that helps.
That does help.
My heel slime, Curtis, was really handy, and he was really
That's
high
really
level
smart.
and had.
Yeah, I'm glad you found you found a cure slime because you didn't have one for a while.
No, that's all I had. I had the heel slime.
Oh.
I had no decent attack monsters at all.
Oh wow, I thought for a while you didn't have a heal slime.
I don't have one. I never had one. I should have had
Oh,
one.
I guess it was you, John. Yeah, those heal slimes are useful.
That sounds great. Ah, man, I should have had a heal slime.
Yeah. Oh well, I had a mason, and he was great.
So the second time, I went to Fortuna, the boat, the Venturi or whatever it's called, the Venture, and I bought 18,000 gold worth of tokens, and that got me 3 of those elfin elixirs.
Oh, nice.
Oh, where did you
On
get
the
those?
casino boat.
In Fortuna.
But you have to buy tokens first
Oh.
and then exchange the tokens for the elfin elixirs. And there's unlimited amounts of them. So you can, as long as you have money.
Wow, how many
Oh
did
my
you go
God.
in? Did you have
Like,
going into
why
this fight?
didn't I fucking know that? That would have made the end of the game so
No,
much
I had
fucking
to,
easier.
I had to look through a shop list to find it. It took me a long time.
I did look through a shop list
Yeah.
and I didn't see
How
it. It's
many
really dumb.
did you have going into the fight originally before you went to Fortuna?
3.
That should have been enough.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I made it through
But
with
this-
one.
yeah.
Well, you probably fought this boss a lot faster than Matt and I
Yeah,
did.
the second time I destroyed him. It was great.
Yeah. Because you had all those cool spells that we didn't
Yeah,
have.
like the big meteor that falls on him. There's one that you can turn into a genie that I never got. I was bummed about that.
Oh. Well, I got one called Hocus
Is that
Pocus.
Hocus Pocus?
Yeah, that turned me into a dragon, and then you can't get out of
No,
it.
that isn't like I got the dragon spell. Hocus Pocus does a random spell, and one of them that I saw was the genie spell, which it does crazy damage. Yeah.
That's cool. So anyway, we fight the last boss.
Yeah.
He's like a priest dude, and then he turns into a giant flying monster. He's red, he's got wings, he's kind of Jabba the Hutt-ish.
Yeah.
Not like a slug, but like he's real wide, and he's got a real wide, fat face and body.
Yeah.
And he's a huge pain in the ass. And it took me, I think, about an hour, and I think it took Stan about an hour
That's right.
to beat him. And the strategy for me was just swap party members in and out constantly use the Sage's Stone every turn because it heals every member of the party, as well often as multi-heal. When he did that double attack, like I had to do both. It was so fucking annoying. And it's just like you do such minuscule damage in this game. You never get to like Final Fantasy level of like crazy damage.
Yeah. I ended up having my main character killed, and I had Snot and Grout in, and Snot was doing all the healing. Grout was just using the Sage's Stone, and then I had Mason and Mohawk just doing. I had them do Show No Mercy and just automatically just constantly hit him all the time, and that made it a lot easier once I died because the two of them together would do about 300 damage together every 2 turns.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So it just takes for fucking ever, unless you're John and you take the time to level up. Though really, you know, Stan and I spent an hour on the last boss. You spent 3 hours leveling up.
So after you kill Nimzo, you I guess everything like turns light. You see him like dissolve, and he's real mad about it.
Yeah, he explodes into light, and like little light shards pop out of his body, and then he explodes into this red light. And then a portal shows up, and your little outer space, because you're doing this fight in outer space. That's very important. Mm-hmm. You're doing this fight in outer space, and you're standing on a shard of Alderaan. And then your little shard of Alderaan goes through a portal, and you're back in Zenithia with the Zenith Dragon.
Yay!
He's pretty happy.
He's so happy he stops talking like a dragon.
And the game is over here.
Kind of.
Yeah.
There's...
If you talk, I talked to my family, and I think the daughter was, or maybe it was one of them was like, well, that's it. The game's over. And I was like, oh, all right.
And I told you, no, it wasn't.
I talked to, so you get back on the back of the dragon, and you do a world tour of every place.
Oh, you don't want to talk about how the Zenith Dragon goes back to talking like Dr. Aegon?
I guess we can talk about that.
He does go back to talking like fucking Flanders, which is pretty funny.
He says, I'll be waiting for you outside. Don't diddly diddly daddly tally long. And I guess, don't diddly diddly dally too long. That's it. Oh, God.
Yep. And so he drops you off at Lofty Peak, where you can talk to the old wise people. Lofty Peak. They're like, oh yeah, hey, thanks. I guess it's cool that our incestual town has created a daughter that helped bring about you, and then you brought about your grandkid. And
yeah, no. So you were talking about the people, the incestuous people at Lofty Neck.
Yeah, at Lofty Neck, the incestuous family that resulted in, and everyone's like congratulating you, and it's I think I would describe this as mostly boring, and it's like a draggy hour of talking to everyone you've ever met in the game.
I hated this so much that I only talked to the people I had to talk to and ignored everyone else to run out of the town and go to the next one.
I talked to everybody, and then I got like the kids and the wife's opinion on everything. And don't do that. Well, I mean, you can. It's just, I just think the pacing's just not there. I just wanted to be done with this game after that horrible last leg.
Yeah, I was done. The only person I was interested in seeing was Deborah.
Oh, yeah.
And all she says is, I hear you saved the world. That's a fair accomplishment for the likes of you, Stan. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Well, I deleted the app off my phone before I realized that there was more shit to do.
So the only interesting thing is you go to Coburg, you talk to Maria, you tell her about the death of her brother, and she's upset. I'd say she's upset, but she takes it pretty well.
She's a little sad. You do see Crispin and Nira. Well, you don't, John. Yeah. But Crispin and Nira are married, and that's just fucking great. And then you go and visit Whitey.
Yeah.
And Whitey's happy to see Bianca. And I'm like, motherfucker, aren't you supposed to be dead?
Died. You go to Monstro Ferrato, and they're like, everyone's literally dancing in the town. Yeah,
yes, they are
dancing around the fountain,
which looks a lot like just their character sprites moving up and down.
Yeah. I did go to Stock and Barrel and talk to Bianca, and she's the little like wistful what if kind of thing. Maybe.
What if we boned down? I can tell you, your kids would be blonde.
I like my blue hair kids, I gotta say, but I think that
but having a blonde haired boy, it looks like you're traveling with Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. He's got the big old Buster sword.
My kid just looks like a Goku with black hair.
Yeah.
The girl's cute. Like the portrait, I'm sure it's the same. She's got the portrait where her hands always over her eyes blocking the sun like she's looking off in the distance. It's cute.
Yeah.
And you finally go to Gotha, and this game ends with a dance.
You Gotha Homa.
There's it takes about 20 minutes of talking to get to the dance, but there is a dance.
Yeah. There is a dance, and then there's a whole lot of credits, and then you get to see some best of scenes in the middle of the credits.
Which you have to No, you don't have to hit the button to get through. I was a little worried that
you don't. But, yeah, I was too. And then you see Finn, and I saw the end.
Oh. Well, maybe people didn't want to have French at the end of their game.
Maybe it was because you bought yours in Canada.
No, that's not it.
Oh, the DS version just actually ends in
it just ends in Finn. The rest of the game was in English.
Weird.
I don't know. I think it's just the DS version. And that.
Cool. Well, if you want to play the really slow, bad last boss version that says, and then it ends with Finn, get the DS.
There's one thing I just want to talk about with Nimzo before we go.
Let's hear about it.
So in the Super Famicom version, Nimzo had half of the hit points of and a limited MP stock compared with the DS iOS version where they gave him twice as much hit points and unlimited MP.
That's obnoxious.
Why would you do that? Okay. Yes, that's just a note because this will go into the end of the game squarely against. But first I want to talk about bullshit minigame for 30 seconds.
Do it.
John's bullshit minigame corner. Don't we usually talk about where we're playing to next before we talk about that?
Fine. Next time on Square Roots, we are playing Dragon Age Origins, and we will finish the origin story and then get to the camp of the Grey Wardens.
And if you're worried, are John and Matt going to be too confused about playing a game called Dragon Age right after playing a game called Dragon Quest? The answer is yes. I have no idea what's going on. But the good news is Jim and Vanessa will be back to help us make it through Dragon Age Origins for BioWary.
Yay, BioWary. BioJanuary.
It's my favorite
month. BioJanuary.
BioWanuary.
Okay, fine.
This month of BioWary. Yay. So, John, let's talk about your bullshit minigame corner.
Yeah.
What bullshit minigame do you want to talk about today?
Do you know those puzzles where you have like a 3-tile slidey thing and you have to slide it?
Yeah, the tile slider.
It's one of those right at the end of the game. Isn't that great? It is not great.
Yeah, especially after you did it, easy. Then you died, and then you had to come back, and you're like, fuck, I don't want to solve this again. So you go to the FAQ. If you do it the FAQ way, you can like snap right through it.
Yeah, it's not hard. You just need to move like 2 blocks.
It's still
all right,
not.
Mr. Wizard.
It was really easy. I didn't even use a guide. It's pretty simple.
Space brain genius, man.
Yeah, I know.
That is John's bullshit minigame corner. And now,
all right. Well, let's finish things off by talking about what we are squarely against. John.
Now, the question is, am I roundly for or squarely against Dragon Quest V? That's the general... so this is a summary, an end review, and I'm roundly for it. I really enjoyed the first 30 hours of the game, and then hated the last 10 hours of the game because it was grinding.
It sure felt like 10 hours.
It really make you work for the end of these games, man. And I gotta be honest with you, I don't know why. It's just like stretching out the end of the game.
Yeah.
Why make
especially
the boss
since
harder?
The middle of the game seems like it's so many cutscenes.
Yeah, and I also feel like the last quarter of the game didn't have the fun story stuff as much as the first 3 quarters.
No, it felt like it finished. It dumped everything it needed on you, and now it's like, okay, time to fight the bad guy. Go.
It became like a Famicom, like NES era 8-bit RPG at the end, like. Wow. Just random bad guys getting introduced to you and uninteresting dungeons and yeah.
I thought it was a pretty interesting dungeon, actually. I mean, it did have a slidey puzzle and a conveyor belt puzzle.
It would have helped if there was a save spot somewhere in there for John I mean, we could save anytime we wanted, but John could not.
I had to save.
If you do a quick save in the DS, it kicks you out of the game.
You cannot. You have to go back to town to save, and that's bad.
Yeah, that sucks.
But overall, I think it was fun writing, really fun scenarios. I think the whole family stuff was really cool. I like that you get really attached to you really feel like your character grew up and became an adult and had kids, and they're growing up, and it's about the passage of time, and it's just there's some really beautiful scenes that I think of that era of RPG you don't really see. Maybe Final Fantasy VI and Chrono Trigger kind of do the same thing, but I think it's up there among the best of them until that last chunk, which sucked. And I think Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI ended so well that even if they did have super hard last dungeons, especially Final Fantasy VI, at least it was fun. And I think this game ends poorly.
I mean, the DS version and the iOS version that we played is a lot different than the original version.
That's true. It is harder.
Yeah, like super different.
I mean, you compare it to Chrono Trigger and the like, but this version looks like that, but the actual original Dragon Quest V looks like a piece of shit.
That is true.
Well, this version looks a lot better than Chrono Trigger. I mean, this version's really beautiful.
Yeah,
I like the monster collecting. I thought that was really fun. I got some neat ones, but I didn't really. In the end, I used the family because that was who I cared about. I didn't care about the monsters.
Yeah. I kept a few of my monsters, and I kept the family, and then I realized the monsters were more useful, and for that last fight specifically. But yeah, it was a thing, and I didn't really care about the monster collecting one way or the other.
I got a grand dragon on my way the last trip back to the tower.
What?
And I was like, oh, I wish I had time to level you up because I bet that thing's pretty good.
Aw. Yeah,
so,
I bet.
Stan, are you roundly for or squarely against Dragon Quest V?
I am, like you, roundly for this game, Dragon Quest V. I thought it was... I enjoyed it. My time with it flew by. As silly as it was a lot of the times. I would actually enjoy grinding because I like turn-based JRPGs. I don't know why. I just prefer that over the action battle. So I just really hated that last dungeon, and mostly because I died on the last boss. But it really was a long slog, and I was up way past my bedtime fighting that stupid monster.
Under your covers, flashlight in between your teeth.
Yeah, yep. So my
mom banging on the door.
Yeah, but she didn't catch me. I had my headphones in.
That's good.
So
smart.
Yeah, that way she wouldn't know. Yeah. But my mom actually was trying to talk to me. But I was so terrified of the game crashing again that I didn't pop out of the game. So, yeah, that's how I knew the fucking monster battle took an hour. It's because she started IMing me right as it started. And when it was done, it was an hour later. So, Matt, are you roundly for or squarely against Dragon Quest V?
I'm real torn. I liked a lot of aspects of the game. It looks nice. The punny script was annoying, but occasionally funny. The idea of it, I just don't know that the execution is great. I don't like how you're constantly getting companions and then leaving them or losing them, particularly when at the end of the game it makes you suddenly level these people up. It's very frustrating. But I did like the idea of, it's the family. I like the family idea. I think it's good in that respect. I didn't find the combat to be particularly good. The menu system is a nightmare. The combat, even on iOS where it's all tap, is still just too many button presses, too much menu. The whole thing could have been it could have used a lot of quality of life improvements.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I would suggest you play it, I think. So I guess I'll say that I'm roundly for it. I liked the beginning with the kids, and I liked going to Fairy Lee, and Then the middle of the game is quite a slog, I think, until you finally get married and shit starts happening again. And then it gets fun. But the game also has a lot of problems, like basically never telling you where to go. You kind of have to play this game with a guide unless you're a child who has millions of hours to spend wandering around to every area every time.
I played this game
lost.
without a guide back in 2009, and I got as far as getting unstoned, and I think that's about as far as I got without a guide, because I didn't get to the part with the boat and going to Lofty Peak. I got really confused at that point.
So yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love my time with it, but it wasn't awful, and it did have some nice stuff to it. I don't regret my time playing it. And, that's about all I can say. So, I guess that's it for Squarely Against. And John is going to leave.
Hold on a sec. My tummy's growling. Yeah, I am out of here. So, thanks, everybody, and bye.
Goodbye, John.
Thanks,
I will miss you
Dan.
since this is the last time I'll ever talk to you again.
Bye.
And now it's just us. Well, before we
Time to get
do
sexy.
the end of show wrap-up stuff, we have one more corner, and that's Stan's They See Me Rollin' corner. Stan,
Oh, was that it?
what's going on over in They See Me Rollin'? Is episode 2 going to be out by the time this comes out on Monday?
All right, yeah, the second episode will be out once this one is released. And we'll be going in earnest. It's weird. It's especially since I'm not the one driving the car this time. So
How's that feel?
it's kind of relieving, except I still have to edit almost every episode. So
Editing sucks.
editing is the worst. But looks like some people are listening, and that's great. Thank you for those of you who have listened to our show and are sticking with it. I think Hayden's doing a pretty great job, and we're already a few episodes in the can. And I am really, really enjoying playing my character. It's basically just me as a 13-year-old again, and I was a pretty shitty boy.
Aw, Night Boy's lovable. I mean, as of right now, I've only listened to the prequels and episode 1, but I like Night Boy, and I think Hayden is doing a great job. So I'm really excited to keep listening to it, and I hope that people will tune in. It's fun.
I think you love Night Boy mostly because he took that dude's face and slammed it into the desk.
No, that's not what I love about Night Boy. And I don't know what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, there was the Goth twins, and the girl leaves the room. The guy is sitting there. His name is Beale. And Night Boy gets annoyed with him and slams his face in the desk. Because he thinks they're bad, because they're demons. And I don't want to give any spoilers for that episode.
So it's Stan really getting to the core of who he is.
I wasn't that violent.
But I'm listening to it, and I have been enjoying it, and everybody else is great. Bobby's great. Ivan's great. Ivan's always great.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer not having Jody around, but, how are you adjusting to it? Is it going well?
It's going great. Jody is still part of our little group. We have a little group chat for TSMR people. And so whenever we can, Jody will be involved in bonus episodes, as well as our Patreon episodes that we release monthly. So those will always have guests. I mean, I'd love to have you and John, Vanessa, and Jim join us sometimes when we're doing the Fiasco episodes. Those are a ridiculous amount of fun. It's basically it's barely a game. It's mostly just improvising a fucking stupid movie.
Yeah, I think that we'd all be excited to do something like that. Well, anything to add before we move on to the next segment?
Well, this is it for me, folks. It's been fun, but Jim and Vanessa are coming back, and
they are.
And I know a lot of people are going to be...
Do you feel used and abused now that you're about to be a former disgraced co-host?
You mean a disgraced former host?
Yeah. Same thing.
If I came back, then I'd be a former disgraced host.
That's what Jim and Vanessa are going to be.
Yeah.
Listeners, get ready for me to give them a lot of shit.
I am, as a listener, excited to have Jim and Vanessa back. So that's awesome.
I, as a podcaster, am, whatever.
I could take it or leave them. No, I love them both. I love them both dearly. And I can't wait. But I can't wait to be kicked to the curb like so much refuse.
You disgraced former tenant. Well, Stan, it's been a pleasure having you, and we do appreciate it. I hope you know that. And we hope that you'll come back in the future. And that being said, I'm going to get a little crass here and be like, listeners, let me get some money, dog.
Oh, shit.
Snap.
Fuck.
We do have a Patreon, listeners. We release monthly bonus episodes. There is voting on upcoming games. There is, as of right now, but it'll be over before this episode is out, a vote on what game we'll be playing for our Square Roots Versus for the month of January. And there's other stuff coming down the pipeline with that as well. You can find it at Square Roots Podcast. No, that's not right. You can find it at patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast. Check that shit out. And one of the things we do is read this huge list of names every episode to thank the listeners that, are patrons.
Thank them.
And Stan, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to ask you, if you will, to, since it's your last time, will you read the list for me?
I'll be happy to.
In that beautiful baritone.
Dr. Steve Stone prescribes.
Dr. Steve Stone.
Let me read you my prescription list. Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Andrew Granieri. Artie Pavlov.
Thanks, buddy.
Ashley T.
Thanks.
Benjamin Avner. Benzina Banzoni. Bobby Midkiff. Brady A. Berman. Bree Girth. Brian Pitt. Brian Stone. Brody Brooding Brady Brandy Brandon Bradley Toy.
What the fuck?
Cameron Show. Kiva Moser. Chris Penyak. Cyril the Wolf. David Green. David Shook. Devin Sloan. Eric Garb. Florian Jonas Kramer. Gage.
You almost told a little story there. David Green, David Shook. Devin Sloan.
George Armbruster. Go Cry Wolf. Gregory. Huxley Iguana. Jake Dickerson. James Hostetler.
Let's get crazier.
James Plett. Jonathan Ellsworth. Jonathan Lee. Joseph A. Rogers. Josh Anderson. Julia Zanella. Julian Titus. Justin Benoit. Justin Ham. Vanessa's mom. Crystal Thamrin. Lord Palmerstein. Matt Jorgensen. Megan Sullivan. Miguel Torres. Mothma's Mandalorian Marmalade makes Maz money.
You say that good because that's you.
I said the other one good and it wasn't me.
Yeah,
Nathan Poirot. Nick. Owen Marble.
Nick.
Patrick Coover, Lord of Binturongs. Patrick W. Bears. PJ Enns. Race Jenkins. Randy Pierce. Resty Kamada. Robert M. Pullum. Robert T. Russ Hartley. Ryan Miller. Sam Harrison. Samu Mitchell. Sean Walsh. Stu Skeel. Tom. Tracy Tanoff. Tyler Petty. Vanessa's mom. Ward Childress. Wonder Swan. Xavier Krieger. Zachary Davis.
Thank you so much, listeners, and thank you so much, Stan.
Ladies
and gentlemen, you can send us an email. It's squarerootspodcast@gmail.com, and if you're not interested in doing that, you're welcome to, but still want to talk to us, you're welcome to find us on our Facebook group. That's Facebook. That the group is called the Square Roots Group for Smart, Cool, Very Attractive People, or something like that. I don't know. I didn't name it.
Smartest, coolest, and most attractive. Who did name it?
Maybe
I thought that was you.
Shut up, Stan. You're blowing up my spot. You can also tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. Thank you to Subversive Asset and Mohawk Gaymer for their cover of Toward the Horizon, the Dragon Quest V world map theme. Check out Mohawk Gaymer and Subversive Asset on YouTube. Links for both of them are in the show notes. Please rate, review, and subscribe in iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you screenshot your review and email it in, John will tell you how you leveled up. And that's it. Stan, thank you one more time for coming with us on this dragon journey.
I'd venture to say it was a quest. Thank you. Thank you very much to all of you.
You were real Goku, and you leveled up. I want you to know that. You leveled up all your stats.
Yes. Every single stat. Even the most important one. Luck.
Wait, what was the most important one?
Luck.
Luck?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was love, and I was really touched. But then it turned out to be luck.
Yeah, I like to get lucky.
Yeah, what's the difference? So, anyway, for the Square Roots podcast, I am Matthew Van Zant.
And I'm Stan Ferguson. And I'm John.
And I'm Vanessa. And I'm Jim. I like my own farts.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Stone.
Bye.